गुरुभ्यस्तद्गुरुभ्यश्च नमो वाकमधीमहि वृणीमहे च तत्राद्यौ दंपती जगदांपति. Another shloka. This one is by none other than Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada. Let us see. Okay. Narayanah paro vyaktad andam avyakta sambhavam andasyantastvime lokah saptadvipacha medini. So this is a shloka by none other than Adi Shankaracharya Bhagavatpada to his Ishtadevata as per Anandagiri, the classical commentator on Shankara Bhashya for Bhagavad Gita. Ishtadevata, please read here. Ishtadevata, nArAyaNa. So, Shankara was a devotee of nArAyaNa. If you see his English translation of Brahma Sutra Bhashya, it starts with salutations to the august nArAyaNa. Vasudeva. If you read this introduction in Bhagavad Gita, it is very clear. Shankara was a devotee of nArAyaNa. He had no confusion about hari-harAbheda, as was thrust upon him in works later composed by others and propagated under his name, and by modern Shankar Matha people. So this video is about this confusion. It has come up a lot in these YouTube comments by irate Shankaras. They are saying, "You are crazy. Our Acharya is right. People who distinguish between Hari and Hara are Mahamurkhas." And I can show you pramANa or evidence for it in the pUrANas. That's their argument. However, there is a lot of erroneous thinking which goes into this. First, let us listen to a presentation of their arguments. So this would be here. All right, let us listen.
மொத்தமும் ஒரே ஸ்வரூபம்தான். நம்ம திருகார க்ஷேத்திரத்தில் விசேஷமாக மகாவிஷ்ணு அம்பாள் ஸ்வரூபமாகவே இருக்கார். அம்பாளே மகாவிஷ்ணு ஸ்வரூபமாக இருக்கார். அப்போ அர்த்தநாரீஸ்வர ஸ்வரூபமும் சங்கரநாராயண ரூபமும் வேற வேற இல்லை, ஒரே ரூபம்தான். அங்க அம்பாளை நம்ம வச்சு பார்க்குறோம் நமக்கு புரியறதுக்காக வேண்டி, ஒரு சில நேரத்தில் பெருமாளை வச்சு பார்க்குறோம் சங்கரநாராயணாக, அவ்வளவுதானே தவிர ரெண்டு பேரும் ஒரே ரூபத்தில் இருந்துட்டு இருக்கா. பாகவத்தில் சொல்லும் போது தக்ஷயஜத்துல பின்னாடி எல்லா தேவதைகளும் வந்தா நான் ஏன் வரல தெரியுமோன்னு பெருமாள் சொல்றார். எப்போ பரமேஸ்வரனை ஒரு துவேஷம் பண்ணக்கூடிய இடம் ஒன்று இருக்குன்னு தெரிஞ்சா நான் வரத்துக்கு அந்த இடம் சரியாக இருக்காது, நான் வரமாட்டேன். எந்த இடத்துல பிரம்மா நான் பரமேஸ்வரன் மூணு பேரையும் ஒன்னா நினைச்சு பஜனை பண்றாலோ பக்தி பண்றாலோ அந்த இடத்துக்கு தான் நாங்க மூணு பேருமே வரோம்னா, அதே நமக்கு குலாச்சார.
இப்படி பாத்தீங்களா அவளுடைய பிரமே? அம்பாளே விஷ்ணுமா, ஹரிக்கோ ஹரனுக்கோ பேதமில்லை, ஹரிக்கோ ஹரனுக்கோ அப்புறம் அம்பாளுக்கோ பேதமே கிடையாது. எங்கே பரமேஸ்வரனையே துவேஷப்படுறாளோ அங்கே ஹரி வரதே இல்லை. என்னென்னமோ கல்பனை. இது பிராமணிಕமா? இல்லை, இது பிராமணிகம் ಅನ್ನ. ಅದು ಕಾಟ್ಕಿರೆ ಇಬ್ರು. So there are so many confusions. So this gentleman here, he's saying that I don't know what this Sri Vaishnava person who not in agreement is doing here, but anyway, this gentleman says that Hari, Hara and Ambal, so Ambal means Devi, they are all actually one deity only. And in fact, in a certain place in Tamil Nadu, Ambal is identical to Vishnu only. All these three entities are identical. Sometimes we put forth one deity, be it Shankara-Narayana or be it Shakti or be it Chandramaulishwara, but they are actually the same deity. So that's the idea he is propagating. So this is a very popular notion among all current day Anuyayans of Shankaran Advaita. Does it have any basis? Any respectable basis? Let us look at the evidence for and against. So let us see where to start. Okay. So, as I said, this is not a new confusion. For example, even Medhatithi, the commentator on Manusmriti, he says, Jagat Karana Purushataya Agameshvamnatah Soyamev न शब्द भेदाद अर्थ भेद ब्रह्मा नारायणो महेश्वर इति एक एवार्थो नोपासना कर्मतया भिद्यते. So this is Medhatithi's agreement with the Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara unity, right? And this is more ancient than even Parashara Bhatta, the Sri Vaishnava commentator, the disciple of Ramanuja. You can see it, I think, in the introduction of the Vishnu Sahasranama Bhashya attributed to Shankaracharya. God only knows if the introduction was part of the original, or if Shankaracharya no, Shankaracharya did not compose that work. There is no evidence to suggest so. None of his immediate Shishyas have cited it. And furthermore, Madhusudan Saraswati, a great Shankaran Advaitin commentator, has also repeated the same story. hari-harAbheda bodho bhavatu kshudradhiyam apiti yatnat ubhayarthatayam yedamuktam sudhiyah sadhutayaiva shodhayantu, and so on. So, and not only that, there is a famous Kannada poet called Kumaravyasa. There is this verse attributed to him, which also suggests the same thing, that Hari and Hara are actually the same. If you think they are different, you will spend how much? Some crore kalpas inside a naraka. There are other such things we will consider. So even Shringeri Jagadguru, he has said exactly the same thing. His Shishya, or the next Peethadipati, Sri Vidhushekhara Bharati, he has said the same thing. Even the Peethadhishvara of Jagannath Puri, Sri Nishchalananda Saraswati, he has said the same thing. So it is a very widely spread notion among Shankarans. And they funnily try to impose this on actual Sri Vaishnavas and actual Shaktas. Actual Shaivas. Like Jnana Sambandha, this Vinay Varanasi did, no? Peyalvar, Annamacharya, and so on. That is a whole other thing which we have already seen. So we'll ignore that. Why is this wrong? Well, you see, Advaitins don't have a proper vyavastha of pramANas. First of all, Pratyaksha is not pramANa for them, as we have shown there. The abheda shrutis taken in isolation override your Pratyaksha, the difference which you perceive. If you slap your neighbor, you don't get hurt, and so on. That is Pratyaksha, but it is all Maya and illusion as per Advaitins. So their pramANa vyavastha is already broken there, but even further it has so many lacunae. They study mImAMsA. You have great mImAMsA acharyas among Shankarans. However, they don't apply their knowledge and their brains to their own philosophy, unfortunately. However, I will show you the correct way to grade pramANas. So, the primary pramANa for anyone is adushta pratyaksham. What you see with your eyes, if it is not flawed, you have to accept it. Right? Then there are the Vedas, Brahma Sutras, and then there are smritis, and then there are the two itihAsas, Ramayana and Mahabharata, especially Ramayana, because of its lack of interpolations, prakshepas, and Sattvika Puranas, and then Vaishnavagamas, Dravida Gathas, and so on. So you can ignore all this part. You don't have to buy this. All right. So you don't. You can only take care of these things. All right. You consider only this part. you can consider the validity or invalidity of the order proposed later separately. We don't need it for now. So, we'll look at the pramANas in this order. No one can argue with the fact, even Shankarans, because they claim to be Vaidikas, they can't argue with the fact that Vedas are the Parama pramANa. As far as the bheda or abheda of devatas in Vyavaharika Satta is concerned. Alright. So, what do the Vedas say? nArAyaNa param brahma tattvam nArAyaNa paraha. So, this is a Veda Vakya. It is very clear that nArAyaNa is a paratattva, param brahma, and so on. And Hrishtyate Lakshmishta Patnyo. So, nArAyaNa has as his wife Lakshmi and someone called Hari. And then he is the Jagat Karana. He produces the universe. That's also there in the Shruti. And furthermore, he is the Antaryami of everyone. He controls everyone. By his commands, everything works in this world. So that is the Vedic opinion. No arguments there. Even the Shankarans admit it. And therefore, this is the Tattva called Param Brahma. Parabrahma, because Janmadyasya Yatah is the Brahma Sutra. Now, Shankarans concoct an alternate reality which says that this Janmadyasya Yatah doesn't refer to the actual Brahma, but something called Saguna Brahma and so on. We'll forget all those gymnastics. We'll stay honest for this podcast. Now, nArAyaNa Shabda has a N in it. So there is Natva. And according to the Vedanga called Vyakarana, this means that this is a Visheshya, not a Visheshana. So it is a qualified word, not a qualifying word, like Shiva, Rudra, Indra, and so on, which can refer to a lot of people. For example, Narendra, he is the leader of this country. He has Indra in his name. Rajendra. And Shiva means auspicious. So you can argue, okay, by Shiva, Bharapa Shiva, you can say that. However, nArAyaNa refers to a qualificant. You can't attribute it to someone else, and it is associated with a particular other deity, for example, Lakshmi here. So there is no confusion here as to who the Shruti is referring to by the term nArAyaNa. Whereas there can be confusions about who the Shruti is referring to by the terms Shiva, Indra, even Vishnu, and so on. Alright. So, however, what does it say about Rudra? Rudra is said to be affected by Papma as soon as he was born. Note that nArAyaNa is unborn, right? He gives birth to the Jagat. However, Rudra, according to the Shruti, was born to Prajapati. And as soon as he was born, he complained, he started crying. That's why he's called Rudra. And why does he cry? Because he has Papma, because he has not been given a name. So, he is Karmavashya. He was born, and therefore he is a Jiva as per the Shruti. Alright? So, Shruti being the Prathama pramANa, all other pramANas should be interpreted in a way so as to not contradict the Shruti. Alright? So, in the Shrutis, the bheda between nArAyaNa and Rudra is very clear. And you might bring up some unheard of Shruti. For example, I can come up with Jathara, Mathara, and so on Shrutis and say all the other Shrutis are wrong. It is overridden by this Shruti which I have, which no one has seen or cited in all these centuries. And there it is said that Rudra is actually the Paratattva, and there is actually no difference between Ambal and Devi and Vishnu and Shiva. Those who think so are going to have stomachache and they are going to rot in hell and so on. You can come up with such Shrutis. There are such Shrutis which Advaitins, Shankara Advaitins have concocted and do cite. No, we don't accept that as evidence. common, well-known, well-attested Shrutis can be admitted as evidence. And with that, we'll go to the next pramana, smriti. Right? In the smritis, is there a difference between Rudra and Vishnu? If you ask that, the greatest smriti, Manusmriti, no dispute in any school, Astika school or Vedika school about its prominence. Since the days of at least the mImAMsas like Kumari Labhatta, it is given high regard. So, what does it say? Sobhidyaya sharirat svat. In the beginning, Manusmriti describes how the world was born after the sages request him for instruction pertaining to dharma. And there he says clearly that Brahma, Sarvaloka Pitamaha, was created and the creator was nArAyaNa. And the Avyakta before him was Brahma, the neuter gender word, not Brahma, the Pullinga word, who was produced by nArAyaNa by inseminating the Apa waters. Alright, so nArAyaNa produced Brahma, who was Sarvaloka Pitamaha. So there is clearly a difference between nArAyaNa, Brahma and Rudra according to Manusmriti, the topmost Smriti. Now you may come up with unheard of Smritis, like the Shaivas would, for example, complain about Shandilya Smriti. We have never heard of it, what are you saying, and so on. So if you bring up unheard of Smritis like Chakilam Smriti or something, that is not admissible. According to well-known, well-attested Smritis, there is a bheda between Rudra, Vishnu, Brahma and so on. And even for that matter, vaiKhanasa Kalpasutra, everyone admits, including bodhayana, Apastamba, who cite vaiKhanasa approvingly. I don't know about Apastamba, in Shauta Sutra I think he does cite, but bodhayana definitely does. So vaiKhanasa Sutra is well attested. Even that declares the paramya of Vishnu. And it is clear that Vishnu there is not, nArAyaNa there is not same as Rudra. So this pertains to Smriti. So what is next in the pramana list? itihAsa. So Ramayana and Mahabharata are considered itihAsa. Where does the pramANa of itihAsa and purANa comes from? From statements like Bibhetyalpashutad vedo and so on. itihAsa purANabhyam vedan samupabrimhayet. This is a Mahabharata statement or a Puranic statement, but there are such statements even in the Shruti itself where the term itihAsa appears before the term purANa. Now, how many vowels are there in itihAsa? itihAsa. And how many vowels are there in purANa? purANa. And yet, itihAsa purANabhyam, you find such usages, which means that according to the Vedanga called Vyakarana, of which the currently popular version is Paniniya Vyakarana, the itihasas are of greater prominence, importance, adaraniyata than puranas. So itihasas naturally succeed or are more important than puranas. There are a lot of evidence I can provide as to why this order of pramANas is correct, but I will leave it for later if anyone is interested. So let us look at itihasas. What do they say? Now in the itihasas, as far as Ramayana is concerned, the distinction between all the deities is 100% clear. Nowhere is it said all deities are same. Only it says Vishnu is all deities. They don't say, for example, Brahma is everything, Brahma is all powerful, Brahma is the supreme, not with Indra and so on. Vishnu, incarnated as Rama, is the supreme deity according to Ramayana. And its text is fairly well conserved compared to Ramayana Mahabharata. So it's a relative term, well preserved, good preservation. So in there you will find Valmiki saying, for example, Bhayam tasma tato devarshi gandharvah sarudrah tushtuvuh. So, including Rudra, all the deities went and requested Vishnu to save them from Ravana. So, thus that clearly shows that Rudra there is not the Param Brahma, not the supreme deity, whereas Vishnu is. And people may say Atra Purva Mahadeva Prasadam Akarot Prabhu and so on. However, you see the ancient commentators like Maheshwara Tirtha, they don't interpret Mahadeva as being Shiva within the itihAsa, without referring to inferior evidence like Puranas and so on. If you take Ramayana in isolation, give it to an unbiased person, he will naturally say that Mahadeva likely refers to none other than Samudra. Because Samudra agreed to let Rama build his bridge over it after he was threatened and so on. That's true. But then he graciously agreed. So Prasadam Akarot and so on. So that's a different argument. You can leave it for later. However, suffice to say, in Ramayana, the distinction, if not, you can take this, okay, why did Rama adore Shiva and so on? Forget that. That's a different issue. He did it to make, if he did it to make people who are adhikaris for such archana adore Shiva for the Trivarga Phalas and so on. That's a different issue. So, the distinction at least is clear between all the deities. And Mahabharata, what does Mahabharata say in Brahmarudra Samvada? There are many other such places. It is clearly mentioned. Tavantaratma mamacha, Brahma says to Rudra, Tavantaratma mamacha ye chanye dehi sanghitah. So the antaratma of me and you is actually Vishnu. He is different from us, he is older than us, we were born of him, and he is the antaratma of us, he is the antaryami of all of us. So itihasas clearly are of the opinion that Vishnu, Narayana, Vasudeva is the supreme deity, and he is different from the jiva called Rudra, the jiva called Brahma, and so on. And what do the Puranas say? Now, quite a few Puranas, the important Puranas, the well-conserved Puranas, they clearly say there is a distinction between all the deities, including between Vishnu and Rudra and Brahma. For example, viShNu-purANa is the Purana Ratna because it is cited since ancient times, unlike other Puranas, and it is well conserved. Fewer interpolations, lot of sects use it and consider it authoritative. Alright, so viShNu-purANa, what does it say? It says that just like Narayana Vaka is sort of the Shrutis determination of who the Param Brahma is. The similar criteria applies to the viShNu-purANa, because it starts off with a very neutral question: where did this world come from? It is not like, please tell me the greatness of Shiva, please tell me the greatness of Ganesha, please tell me the greatness of Shakti, and so on. Because that is the leading question, it's a biased question, it will give you biased answers. But this is a neutral question, it starts with a neutral question, and the answer is shown to be Narayana. And this Narayana is shown to be Shubhashraya, unlike all other devatas, and therefore he is distinguished from the other devatas. He is the antaryami of every body, of every soul. That is fine. However, he is distinct from all the jivas. That's the message of viShNu-purANa. You may verify it by yourself. You are welcome to read it. Brahmadya sakala deva manushya pasavastatha Vishnu maya mahavarta gartandha tamasa vrita. So everyone Brahmadi, everyone starting from Brahma until the smallest organism is bound in Vishnu's maya. So they are karmavashya. It is very clear in viShNu-purANa. And even Ramanuja notes it. Brahmadinam bhavanatrayanvayena nama karmani ishvaropasanayam ubhayoshodhyamena karmavashyatvam bhagavatah devadishvavatara iti shashthemshe shubhashraya prakarane suvyaktamuktam. So you can study the 6th Amsha especially of Vishnu Purana and see what it says by yourself. And furthermore, even other Puranas like paro nArAyaNo devas tasmad jatas chaturmukha tasmad rudro bhavad devi. So it's clearly describing a sequence of origination, and such Pauranika statements clearly specify the bheda between the devatas. And beyond that, yes, these are the favorite Pauranika statements of ignorant shankaras, such as this one: ye bhedam vidadhatyadha avayorekarupayoho kumbhipakeshu pachyante narah kalpasahasrakam. Padma Purana 546:21. So this says who specifies the bheda between me and you. Vishnu says to Rudra, they will rot in hell. Basically that's what it says. They will be fried in hell. So such statements, however, have to be because of their position as inferior pramANas compared to itihAsas, smRtis, vedas. They have to be interpreted in a way so as to not oppose these superior pramANas. For example, here you could say, in the state where we are united in one form, people who try to distinguish us, they are going to be punished. Or you can say, for example, this is meant for the tamasadhikaris, not the satvikadhikaris, who know well, who understand how to arrange the pramANas, who know how to do proper mImAMsA, not like the various shankarans we just saw. And you can interpret the verse in such ways. And there are other funny things, like there is the idea that you get namaparadha by specifying, by even thinking the difference between Hari and Hara. Now this was actually cited in the year 2025 by Vidhushekhara Bharati of Sringeri Sharada Pitha. So that, of course, as I explained here, it does not make sense whatsoever because of superior pramANas telling the opposite. And you must consider, so by this, purANas themselves, which I have cited, smRtis themselves, even Manu himself, even the Vedas, the rishis who speak the Vedas, they themselves are going to be guilty of namaparadha. And they will, furthermore, funny thing is that they are supposed to get stomachache. Udar pidadi kathapi asti. Okay. Ye brahma vishnu rudranam bhedam uttama bhavatah sadhayedu daravyadhi. Not just stomach pain, stomach disease. Yukto bhavati manavah. However, you should trust us. If you want, we can go and get medical examination. All our lives, Vaishnavas, we say there is a difference between all these deities. We don't get to Daravyadhi. So at least by Pratyaksha pramANa, if you don't do proper mImAMsA of the pramANas, at least by Pratyaksha pramANa, you should, and Pratyaksha pramANa is superior to all other pramANas as per Shankara himself, excluding the abheda shrutis, of course. So according to Pratyaksha pramANa, you should agree that this is all to be understood as some sort of arthavada, something meant to praise for some adhikaris, the bhavana that there is no distinction between the deities and so on, and not the actual truth. And you see, if you do proper if you do proper mImAMsA, the Shankaran argument of there being only one deity appearing in many forms, that monotheistic attitude, has no grounding in the Vedas. The Vedas, the smRtis, the itihAsas, and certainly a good section of the purANas are polytheistic. Polytheistic, many gods, not many forms. Many gods, many distinct entities. So that's all I had today. Thank you very much. Hope this clarifies. The irate Shankaras should learn mImAMsA, proper mImAMsA, how to arrange pramANas, which pramANa supersedes which other pramANa, and so on. That's all I have today. Thank you very much. Namo Namah.